Hello YouTube, welcome back to Atlanta to Dallas Aviation, and we have yet another unboxing for you today. I believe I was way off on my unboxings on the last video I did. I was actually, believe it was only on number 35, so this should be number 36 if I remember correctly. But anyway, I have some interesting models here. One of them is probably going to end up being a subject of a compare video, and as you know, these are pretty low-tech videos, so I really only have 30 minutes to cover it. So I'm going to have to really make sure that I'm ready to go when I do that one. But I have 4 models, but 2 of them are duplicates, which is rare for me to do. I don't often do any duplicates, and I really only go as far as getting 2 of anything of the same thing. And then of course there's sometimes you collect stuff, you think it's going to be different, and then you find out, oh, this is the same registration number as a model that somebody else did, or maybe it's in a different livery. I have several of these where the livery changed, but they used the same registration number on both livery versions of the same airplane. So that's kind of annoying. At least it's a little bit different, but I really do not like having the same registrations, even if the liveries are different. Well, you know, with that said, I'm going to go ahead and get into this. As you know, with my unboxings, the airplane is the model is actually already out of the box, just because I have a limited amount of time. My hardware and software is so slow, and I have not invested in new hardware, which is really the problem. I haven't invested in new hardware, so I have to make my videos less than 30 minutes. So anyway, with that said, I take the airplanes out of the box. I take them out of the packaging box, and then I take each individual model out of its box, just so we can get through this faster, and I can ramble on like I'm doing now. Anyway, so our first one, let's see, there it is. Our first one we're going to go over is the newest offering from Gemini Jets for a CRJ 900 in Delta Connection. Before I get into my opinions here, so this is CRJ 900, operated by SkyWest, and its registration, let's see, there's the flap of the box if you want to read some of that. But this registration is Alpha 800 Sierra Kilo, and its item number there is Golf Juliet Delta Alpha Lima 2029er. Alright, so that's the box. It's just the usual common Gemini Jets box, so we don't need to really go into that. But this particular model is going to be probably one that is a subject of a compare video. I want to say that this model, I'm going to go ahead and bring one in, and I'm going to bring in the one that I think is the better of the 2 examples that I have. All right. I'm gonna get in kind of close here, and we'll turn on the turntable here in just a second. All right, so this a year ago, I don't even know how long it's been, but for some time collectors were clamoring about getting a Delta Connection CRJ 900, even though there had been some done in the past. And I will say that so far, even with this example now, the example that I have from the past is still the best one. So you would think as time goes on, things actually get better. Well, I can't say that it got better. I will say that this release is better than the previous release, but it's not as good as the releases prior to the last most recent release, if that makes sense. So we're gonna compare that. But so how is this release better than the one previous to it? Well, the vertical stabilizer, I'm sorry, not vertical, but horizontal stabilizer at the top of the vertical fin, they have done a much better job with the angle that they're at. They're supposed to be angled slightly down and not slightly up, which my other example, I could show that to you, but I'm not going to. That one is actually angled very slightly up, which is wrong. So in that case, they improved. In what I am not absolutely sure about is this main gear. What's up with this main gear? The wheels are positioned more underneath the fuselage than out over the wing itself. They still have not gotten the spacing on the main landing gear right, and I'm not sure why that is. So that's super annoying, but like I said, it is better than the previous release, but it's not as good as the releases that were even before that. So anyway, so let's get this thing, see if I can get it nice and slow for you. Okay, I think that's as slow as it gets. Hopefully I've got it on the turntable now where you can see it as I'm talking. Okay, a little bit back. All right, my additional information on this aircraft. So this is a Delta Connection operated by SkyWest Airlines. I already told you the registration number. It was delivered on the 28th day of July in 06. And it is approximately 17.6 years old based on the first time it flew, not necessarily when it got delivered, but the first time it flew. And it is currently an active aircraft. It's powered by two General Electric CF34-8C5 engines. And as you can see, fuselage mounted. And the seating configuration is 12 domestic first class, 20 comfort plus, aka premium economy, and 44 standard economy seats. All right. So let's stop this and see it a little bit closer. So what is nice about this model is I think they do a decent job at making the nose gear tires versus the main gear tires appropriately proportioned. So I think, and it does not like being that close, I guess. Yeah. Let's take it back a little bit. Let's see if I can get, sorry about the focus, folks, but okay, good. It focused nicely. This is about as close as it lets me get. All right, so you got your main, I'm sorry, not your main gear, your nose gear here. I'm not sure what it says on the gear door there. Maybe it says CRJ 900, I'm not sure. Got your cockpit windows and your SkyTeam logo here next to the L1 door. You have your widget in Delta, and then connection and even smaller print below the window line. Moving back, you got your two overwing exit doors here. And then your registration here with the American flag. Your two fuselage mounted engines. And then your T-tail. And what I mean by T-tail is that the horizontal stabilizers are on top of the vertical stabilizer, so it looks like a T. So that's what T-tail means, in case you didn't know already. And we've got our widget on the background of blue, and a nicely done APU right back there. Alright, so I have two of those. This particular model is probably a subject of scrutiny sometime in the future, since I have 3 different time periods of CRJ 900 for Delta connection to compare. But until I'm ready to do that, we will continue on with this. Our next one is, alright, so our next one here is, okay, kudos to Gemini Jets. They did a great job with this mold. I know molds cost a boatload to invest in everything, and this would be a brand new mold. Now, some people say like the 767-400 that they put out. Yes, it's a brand new mold, but it's not brand new in that you necessarily had to start from scratch. This one you pretty much had to start from scratch. And I'm going to assume that since they had to start from scratch, they really did their homework and they put out a great mold, a great new mold. So I want to shout out, kudos to Gemini Jets for that. And funny thing is, this one still, as you can probably see up here, it still has a 25th anniversary Gemini Jets logo up here. Obviously, this is a 2024 release, even though I think it says 2023 on the bottom. So maybe I'm not remembering it right. Maybe this was December. And why are you not focusing? Maybe this was a December issue and we're just now getting it. But I thought it was a January release, but I could be wrong. But it was already made, obviously, in 2023. Whether it was released in December or not until January of 2024. But that's neither here or there. So, of course, this is KLM. I don't know if Cityhopper, if they just call it a Cityhopper when it's a regional, or if Cityhopper is the name of the regional. I'm assuming Cityhopper is the name of the regional. But anyway, regardless, the registration, I think you can see all that. Registration there is Papa Hotel - November X-Ray Echo. And yeah, so there's some information here that I'm going to go over here in a minute. Anyway, again, the standard Gemini Jets box, but quickly moving on because I've been talking way too much and not taking action. All right, here. I'm hoping that's going to get really slow, because that is spinning really fast on my camera. And it's still spinning really fast on my camera. All right, well, let me try one more time. I got a little bit of time here. Okay, good. Okay, that's a better speed. I still haven't figured out how to adjust the speed quite right, so it just seems to be haphazard. All right, so this is KLM Cityhopper. It was delivered on the 25th day of November of 2021, and based on first flight, not for the airline, but first flight in general. It's approximately 2.4 years old, and it is currently active. It's powered by two Pratt & Whitney 1900 geared turbofans. And the seating is all coach at 132 seats. All right. Now see, that's how slow I want it to turn for you while I'm reading the extra information. But I can't always seem to get it to do it. All right, so. I almost got it to stop in the perfect position here. All right, so let's take a close-up look at this bad boy. It looks like the tire size difference is reasonable here. You just never know sometimes, but there is a noticeable difference in the size of the tires. So at least they, at the very least, attempted to have that be proportionately correct. And, all right, this is probably about as close as I'm going to be able to get. And so we got our cockpit windows. The writing right below here, I cannot read it, but I'm pretty sure it says Air France / KLM Group or something like that. You can probably see it if you're looking on a much bigger screen. Here's our SkyTeam logo in our nose gear with a portion of the registration on the nose gear doors. The L1 door, and I'm not sure what is right next to the L1 door there. And then the titles KLM Cityhopper just above the window line. Moving back, we have our port side Pratt & Whitney 1900 geared turbofan. We got our two overwing exits. And I'm not sure if you can tell. You actually can probably tell better by looking at this one back here. The straight wingtips here. So we don't necessarily have any winglets or anything. And we just keep on going back. Very long aircraft. So we have our registration here, the Dutch, Belgium, yeah, Belgium flag, I guess, and then the other flag is just the European Union flag. And then you got your L2 door back here, and then back here in the back got our tail of white with KLM on it. And I wanted to, they did a really good job on the APU back here too. Sort of, I would say a similar good job that they did on the APU for the A220. So another kudos there. Anyway, we need to move on quickly. I hope you enjoyed that one. I only got this one because this mold was so good. I wanted to get another one. The Porter one was excellent. And this one semi-fit. This KLM semi-fit with my collection in that KLM is SkyTeam, so I do kind of have a SkyTeam collection also. So even though I wouldn't normally have this, it was just so good. I had to have at least one more, and it fit SkyTeam, so that was good. All right, so moving on rapidly to the one I'm most excited about having. It's been a while, but we have a classic, yes, classic Delta widget on a 757-200 Gemini Jets. 757-200 Delta Classic widget. Now this is this paint scheme, by the way, when these aircraft were delivered to Delta initially for the first time, this cheat line actually went all the way to the rear of the aircraft. Later on, with repaints, I don't know, to save money, I guess, they cut off the cheat line here just in front of the horizontal stabilizer, and they had the chrome part come up and engulf, if you will, the very back part where the APU is. So this would be the repainted version of this and not the delivery version, but still way better than what Delta has now. But anyway, so moving on, that was my really quick rant. Here is the inside flap if you want to pause and read that. This is registration November 607 Delta Lima. And again, just the standard Gemini Jet box. We don't need to look at that. But we do need to look at is this beauty right here. All right. Alrighty, let's get this thing turning. Hopefully I can get it slowed quickly. That's not as slow as it usually goes. Come on, slow down. Okay, that's a little bit slower, but it still looks like it's going pretty fast, if you ask me. Okay, it kind of looks like it calmed down a little bit. Alright, so while that's turning, I'll give you my extras here. So, Delta, of course, 757-200, delivered on the 14th of May 1985. Yes, 1985. What a great year. I was just about to graduate from horrible high school. And based on first flight, this plane would have been 39 years old, but it is no longer active. It's not stored. It was scrapped. So we're looking at an extinct airplane here. It was powered by two Pratt & Whitney 2037s, wing mounted. And in this aircraft's heyday, the seating configuration was 24 domestic first class and 159 economy seats. All right, so, and I still have a pretty decent amount of time to do a close-up, I think. But in the meantime, if you're enjoying this video, please leave a like for it. If you are enjoying multiple videos of mine, please also consider subscribing to the channel. And like I said, I really just do this to share my love for this. I'm never probably going to make any money at it, so that's not the purpose. But anyway, let's get really close. And as usual, I love reading your comments, so please leave a comment if you care to, especially if you recently got this model yourself and you want to share your opinion on it. All right, that is probably as close as I'm going to be able to get. All right, so I will say, even though this is an old mold, it's actually still pretty decent. It's no NG Models mold, but this is probably one of Gemini Jet's original molds that have stood the test of time, if you will, but it really could be better. But it's good. And at least here in the States, Gemini Jets don't cost quite as much as NG. Sometimes $2 and sometimes even $3 cheaper. So as long as they don't screw up the printing, it's definitely worth getting a slightly inferior version if you can save some money. But that's not to say this is horrible. So I'm running out of time quickly. So here's a reasonably good shaped nose, cockpit, no sky team on this livery. This livery was before they had, now I don't know if it's before they had sky team necessarily, but it's certainly before they had a logo to put on there. Here's the classic widget that is painted across the L1 door. Following your cheat line back, this is basically your first class cabin and your Delta titles above the cheat line before you get to the L2 door, which is typically for this aircraft where you actually board. And you got your nice tall nose gear door here with part of the registration on the gear doors. Here's one of your Pratt & Whitney, this is port side engine. We've got two overwing exits here. I can't remember which version that makes this, if it's 1 or 2 or A or B or something like that. But one version also has an additional door, or at least a door plug here. But this one does not have that. Oh, it's like generation 1 or 2 or something like that. And this also does not have any winglets, so it's prior to getting winglets. I'm running out of time, so until next time, happy collecting.